How's it going, and welcome to my first Marvel Snap deck highlight today. If this is something that you're interested in seeing on the regular, make sure you like that video, leave a comment down below with what you'd like to see on the channel, and make sure you subscribe because I'm planning to make some regular Marvel Snap content here on the Hoaglandia Snap channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on into our deck for the day. We're going to be playing some Ka-Zar 1-drops. Ka-Zar is an incredibly powerful payoff when we fill our deck with 1-cost cards. It has the ongoing effect that all your 1-cost cards increase their power by 1. This means in a deck like ours, this is frequently going to be adding double digits worth of power to the board for just 4 mana. Now, something to consider when deck building is that in Marvel Snap, we're only seeing 75% of our cards every game, 9 out of our 12. This means we need other payoffs to make sure our deck is still powerful, even when we don't draw Kazar. The second best payoff in our deck is definitely Strong Guy here, which is a 2 mana, 3 power card that becomes a 9 power card if your hand is empty. And because our deck is full of so many cheap cards, we are almost always going to empty our hand out unless something goes incredibly wrong. Another kind of 1-2 combo payoff that we have is one of our 1-drops is Nova here. It says when this card is destroyed, your cards get +2 power. We pair this with Deathlok here, one of our 3-drops, which not only has 5 power on its own, but says destroy all other cards at Deathlok's location when it is revealed. This means we frequently want to play Nova off on its own, so that way if Deathlok shows up, we can go ahead and pop that in the later turns once we've filled the board up and add an incredible amount of power to the board. The rest of the deck is fleshed out with other 1-cost plays here for a total of 7. And then we've got a pair of 3s here that add additional power to the board when they are flooded with units in different ways. At any rate, I've played a ton of games with this deck, and I think it's a lot of fun. I've got 3 of the best games that I've played recorded here as a highlight. I hope you enjoy them, and be sure to check back in real soon for another deck highlight here on YouTube. Dope. Let's see what we've got here, huh? Elektra as our first 1-drop isn't great. Scarlet Witch is pretty reasonable. The card with the highest power here has +3 power. This is very unlikely to go in our favor because we don't really have any super individually powerful cards. Perhaps we could make Strong Guy work there. I think I'm better off Scarlet Witching this though, because I really don't want to play Elektra in one anyway, so I want to wait and see if they play a 1-drop somewhere. Gonna go ahead and get rid of this. Give cards in players' hands +2 power. Okay, so they technically got 1 more +2 than we did there. And then that discarded a card from each of our hands. I think in general, both players discarding a card is detrimental to us because usually we're a deck that plays out our entire hand. And we actually discarded our Strong Guy there, which is pretty unfortunate. That's our payoff for having a bunch of cards. So this last location is Dark Dimension. Cards played here are not revealed until the game ends. Okay, so I think we're going to deploy Deathlok in the mid. Want to get him just into an open spot here. Uses all of our resources efficiently for the turn as well. So we'll stay face down until the end of the game. So this is a 1, 2, or 3-drop there. We have Kazar. I could also alternatively deploy a bunch of ones, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and deploy Kazar to the left over here. Maybe we actually deploy Kazar to the right, so this can be a surprise. Yeah, let's actually do that. Them not knowing that Kazar is coming has a lot of value. This says their next card has +2 power. Okay. Squirrel Girl's kind of a fun one for them to flip up at the last minute too. So it's gonna fill in things like Ant-Man, which is great. Let's go ahead, Squirrel Girl here, and then we'll Ant-Man plus Elektra plus Nightcrawler here. I guess I don't need to deploy Nightcrawler. I gotta wait and see what we draw next turn before we decide where we want to go with this. Flip Elektra up here and destroy this. This one's going to be +2 attack from their Forge. And we dodged a Gamora powering up there, which is nice. And there's a Nova. So we know a Squirrel's about to flip up into each of these spots. I think if I deploy 2 1-drops over here with the Kazar, we're going to end up being in a pretty good spot. So we have a good chance to win both spots 1 and 3. And obviously we're punting the center. I'm going to go ahead and snap here. I think I'm feeling pretty good about spots 1 and 3. Snapping doubles the stakes of the game. So if my opponent just calls and does not snap, well, they'll be worth 4 points potentially on the ladder at the end. They could also concede here, ending the game. They call, so we get a Wolfsbane here, which is only a 5, and then a blue Marvel, which gives all their things +1. I believe that's still fine for us, though. So they're at 12 here. Our Kazar is 7. Our Squirrel Girl is 2. This powers up our Ant-Man. Nightcrawler pops up and is 3 from Kazar. Yeah, excellent. Good clean win and 4 cubes towards the ladder there, because we win 2 of the 3 areas here. Dark Dimensions is a fun one. Once more, Unto the Breach. We've got a Squirrel Girl and a Nova as potential 1-drops. 1, 2, and 3 cost cards cannot be played there. I'm going to go ahead and just open Nova on the right here. We don't have our combo with Nova, but one could show up later. They guessed correctly with the Yondu there. Is a little unfortunate. So they... Oh, this isn't that one. This is a just gets rid of the top card. I thought it was one of the ones that increases its power. Cards played in the central area have +1 power. That seems good for us. Let's go ahead and deploy Squirrel Girl here. We'll put Nightcrawler into here for now as well and wait and see what happens. We had Cable, who put the bottom card of our deck into their hand. They're really poking at our cards here. A random card to each player's hand. We got a Magic reveal. Changes this location to Limbo. There is a turn 7 this game. Interesting. This is a really neat design. So you could put a card in your deck that basically guarantees an extra turn to the game. I don't know if that's good or not. It's a 5 cost with only 3 power, but neat design space for sure. I could Scarlet Witch here and see what else we get on a different roll. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Ironheart in the right side for now and see what we get. You have 3 of our things +2 attack. It's made the center much more powerful. Got +4 there. There is a Kazar. This is one of our few cards that can actually fit into the Crimson Cosmos. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this in over here. This way, even if we don't win the Crimson Cosmos with Kazar, it kind of forces my opponent to expend resources in this direction. We could deploy Magic there next turn, actually. Hullbuster merges those together, so they become 1 card with lots of power here. So they have 9 in the center. Thanks to Kazar, we're still ahead there. 13, add a random card to your hand. Seems pretty powerful. Like 1 mana for a 2 power thing is pretty on rate, and it effectively draws you a card. There isn't a lot of like raw card advantage in this game, so to see a card like that provides it seems potentially very good. Okay, so Deathlok is potentially huge here because we could destroy the Nova and power up everything else in these other areas. So I think I'm actually gonna go ahead and let's Magic for fun here and get us a turn 7. Let's turn the Crimson Cosmos into Limbo. Definitely one of the more fun areas, kind of flips things on its head. And with the Jessica Jones play here, we're probably losing this one anyway. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and deploy Deathlok to this this right side. Just gonna blow this up, but I want to deploy my other things first, so that way we get the entirety of the bonus on Deathlok across the way. I think I'm going to deploy an Elektra here too, and we'll put this out over this way. I'm pretty sure this Nova only applies to things in... I think this is only give your cards +2 power. This might affect in hand too. We'll find out. But Ant-Man here is going to be a +4 over here, and then this is going to get +8 from Deathlok popping Nova. And then we'll get +7 here in the center, so we'll be... 22 over here, and we'll be 18 in the mid, and then there's going to be a 7th turn this game still. Elektra does not have any targets here. Nova does only impact cards in play, so perhaps merit to playing Scarlet Witch out there. Up to 20 power in the center. Hawkeye is unfortunately not going to be able to to be able to win, to be able to get his on reveal. I can move this Nightcrawler, which has 7 attack if I move it somewhere else, and they're locked in on the right side, so I think it's actually correct to move Nightcrawler here, and then we'll deploy Hawkeye as well, just as a hedge. And then perhaps we Scarlet Witch in the center, just for the sake of trying to mess up whatever this has going on. Well, this could backfire on, so I think it's actually safer not to play the Witch. I'm going to slide Nightcrawler over and Hawkeye here, which will give us... I guess I need this here to beat this, because we'll only have 14, 15, 16 here, which would mean we would tie. And I don't want to go to tiebreakers, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm going to play Scarlet Witch here, and we'll gamble on what Hub's going to turn into. Could be good or bad for us. So we're up on points here now. Oh, the space thrown after the fact. Okay, and they Odin in the center. So really glad we pulled Nightcrawler out of there and decided to push on the right side. Yeah, so pretty solid game here. Gonna win the left and the right. Good stuff. Getting to play in Limbo is sweet. This is a card I'm looking forward to opening for sure. Like the design on that a lot. All right, what do we got? Hawkeye and Elektra in the opener. 6 cost cards cost 1 less. Not super beneficial to us with 0/6 costs in our deck. I'm just going to go ahead and deploy Hawkeye to the left. We can pretty safely assume we can deploy Nightcrawler alongside him next turn to get his on-reveal bonus, because we can end up moving this somewhere else if we ultimately don't want it to be in this position. See if they deploy anything. We might want to deploy Elektra next turn to match. She gets to go ahead and destroy a 1-cost card at the location where she's played. Plays from our opponent. End of turn 3, deploy a random card here. Alright, I think I'm just going to be resource efficient and deploy the strong guy here with the Hawkeye. This deck usually gets its hand empty every game unless something goes incredibly wrong with one of these positions in the center. So this will likely win us this left side with Hawkeye plus strong guy. This will be 12 power just between these two. There's Cable. Cards here have -3 power. That's not great for us. I could Deathlok here, so there's some value in playing Deathlok to this spot, even though I'm pretty unlikely to win it, because I don't have a lot of individually powerful cards in our deck. But the big value here is it kind of forces my opponent to commit some resource, so they don't just want to give up this spot. So Deathlok's one of my few cards I can play that will actually have some positive power here, and then it'll force my opponent to commit a 6+ power thing here later if they don't want to give it up. Devil Dinosaur is a tough nut to crack. Let's see how our expansion flips go. I got a Vision, and they got a Taskmaster. Set this card's power equal to the power of the last card you played. I thought Vision was good, but that's going to get to be a 10-drop now, right? Good rolls for both of us there. Okay, with Vision now, plus Kazar, I think we might actually be in a position to potentially win this this right side over here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and deploy Kazar here. And go ahead and just end the turn and see where we end up at. Namor is a little bit individually powerful, but we have turn 4. We can potentially play out a lot of our cards here at this point. I think I'm going to go ahead and deploy Nightcrawler plus Wolfsbane here on the left, because Nightcrawler can move, so I'm not locking myself into the amount of power here unless I like the amount of power here. So I think I'm going to hold off on spending this extra resource to wait and see where I want Nova and Elektra to end up at exactly here. See what they do. We deployed a White Queen, which is not going to get anything for them. Nightcrawler is +1 from Kazar. Wolfsbane is +6 because I have 3 other things here. So we're winning this spot by 1. I gotta decide, where do we want to go? So when I play out the remainder of my hand here, it's going to mean that strong guy turns into +6 power. So I think we want to move Vision here, which will give me a total of 8. So I'm winning this unless they buff Namor. And then I put Nightcrawler here in the central area. And then Ant-Man here on the left is going to be a 4. And this is going to be a 9. So we're going to have a lot of power over here. And then we'll just deploy Elektra and Nova in the center just to get our hand empty so Strong Guy can pop off here. Actually, I think we're going to win. I'm going to snap here as well. Let's double the stakes up to 8. See if we get the max ladder points if this looks like a win for us. As Namor here as a bonus if he's their only card there. So if they deploy another card here to try and beat this 8 with the move on Vision, they have to not only beat my 8, but they have to beat the 8 with Namor getting weaker. Enchantress neutralizing my ongoing effect is huge. I think that might have cost us. Oh, let's see. Oh, Enchantress neutralizes all ongoing effects. So it made my Strong Guy much weaker, but they punted because the Devil Dinosaur also sets to 0. Okay. I mean, obviously they missed that, but I would wager that they didn't have another card here that was going to let them win this path. Because if Strong Guy is +6, we're going to be 25 here. So even if this was 10 with, you know, say a 4 or a 5 with it, that would still only be 20 or so. So, sweet win.